back to day 15 of 31 monsters in 31 days. So let's find out who we're making today. We are making the creature from the Black Lagoon. All right, let's get started.
While we're sketching out the plan and making the basic blob shape that all the monsters in this series are built off of, I'm going to give you a bit of a history of the creature from the Black Lagoon and why I included him in my monster list. If you want to see slower, step-by-step instructions on how to make this basic blob form, check out this video. For details on how I do my paper mache, check out this video. Both are linked in the description. So of the creatures on my list, the creature from the Black Lagoon is probably the one I knew the least about, but you know, I've always been vaguely familiar. I've seen him around. The creature, more properly called Gill-man, came to us from Universal's 1954 movie, Creature from the Black Lagoon. The impact Universal's monster movies had on Halloween culture cannot be overstated, and the fact that most of us have ever even heard of the creature, even though he hasn't starred in a movie since the original trilogy in the mid-50s, is a testament to how influential these films were. The creature is a humanoid amphibious fish being. He's said to be the last surviving member of a race of Gill-men who lived in the Amazon rainforest. The plot of the movie has a group of scientists mounting an expedition into the creature's home lagoon. The Gill-man then kills the scientists and their crew to protect his home. He also becomes enamored with the expedition's only female member and attempts to kidnap her to his underwater lair. The Gill-man is different than other classic Universal monsters in that the character was almost entirely the studio's creation and was only very loosely inspired by folklore. A lot of their other star monsters came from novels that are now in the public domain. The look of the creature was designed by Millicent Patrick, the first woman to ever work in a special effects makeup department. The Gill-man is an icon, and his awesome character design and association with the Universal classic monster movies is why I had to include him on my monster list. And I really love how this one turned out. I'm super excited to share the build with you. My next step is to make the creature's eyeballs. I'll need those to dry before I can add them to his face. I'm sculpting these bits with DOS air dry clay. I really recommend this clay. It's my favorite air dry clay. I'll leave a link for this and my other supplies in the video description. Here are the eyes all dry. I'm giving them a light sand with these nail files I like. This makes the eyeballs super smooth. Just don't forget to protect your lungs whenever you're sanding dry clay. I'm going to base coat the eyes now. In a lot of the color images of the creature I could find, I noticed the eyes had a little bit of a yellow tint, so I'm painting the eyes mostly white with a little hint of yellow around the edges. When the eyes are dry, I'm hot gluing them onto the dry blob. I like to stick them on the sculpture before I put the pupils on so that I can make sure the pupils are aligned in the way that I want them. I'm doing the pupils in a bit of a lazy way. I'm using this office hole punch to cut 2 black dots out of this black sticker paper I had, and I'm just sticking them down onto my Gill-man's eyes. I'm coating the eyeballs with some UV resin here. Somehow I managed to just get it all over the place. This poor guy looks like he's crying. If this happens to you, don't bother wiping the resin off. Just make sure you cure it. That will make the resin completely inert. At this point, he's kind of looking like a frightened hot dog, so I need to restructure his head a little bit. I'm putting a big wad of paper on his head. You'll notice this gives the top of his head a bit of a bulge and brings his brow forward quite a bit. I'm using a second wad of paper to bring the lower part of his big fish face forward. Then I'm covering all that with paper mache. Now he looks less like a frightened hot dog and more like a shocked potato, but we're gonna fix that. Building the face for this guy was super fun. I'm starting, as always, with the eyelids. I'm using a bit of black fabric for these. I'm using a paintbrush to saturate this little strip. Then I'm twisting up a little bit of paper towel, folding it inside like a little taco, and carefully wrapping it around the creature's eyeball. It took me a couple times to get this right. I'm blending that all into the sculpture with a bit of brown paper, and of course I repeat for this second eye.
So it's late, I'm tired, and I just realized I forgot to hit record to film making his big fishy lips for you. So please accept this dramatic reenactment that I have prepared on this cardboard covered chip can.
So I started with the top lip. It's just a bit of glue soaked paper towel with a pretty chunky wad of paper towel twisted up inside. the bottom lip is exactly the same. I put it underneath and then made him a little chin. For the bumps going up from his top lip towards his forehead, I rolled little sausages of glue-soaked paper towel and stacked them up the bridge of his nose. Once I got far enough with my little sausages, I made another paper towel taco and used that to make this great big ridge over his eyes that also acts as his upper eyelids. I covered that free edge of the paper towel with some more brown paper. At this point, I let him dry because I wanted to use hot glue to stick on some fins. But first I realized he needed a few more forehead bumps, so I'm making those with some paper towel. Okay, now I can make those little fins. I used a small sliver of craft foam to extend this ridge up from his eyes. Then I used some cardboard to build these fin gill things off the side of his face. And of course, I covered those new additions with one last bit of paper mache before letting him dry completely. I base coated him in this green color. I know the color's a little bit minty right now, but you'll have to trust the process with me here. When that minty color was all good and dry, I gave him an all-over wash with this dark green. This is some watered down acrylic paint I'm slapping on and then wiping back with a damp paper towel. I really like how this emphasizes all the bumps on his face, and it corrects that minty color a bit. When the wash has dried, I'm using a little makeup sponge to bring back some highlights and add some color modeling to the Gill-man's skin. Finally, I'm cleaning off his eyeballs with a Q-tip dipped in rubbing alcohol and gluing some black felt onto the bottom of the sculpture as a final finishing touch. And here's our finished creature from the Black Lagoon. He's probably one of my favorites. I love his fishy face and his big old lips. Let me know if you think I did a good job by hitting the like button or leaving me a comment. I try to reply to all the comments I get here. You could even comment a random emoji if you want. Since I'm a smaller channel, anytime you interact, it really helps me out because it tells YouTube this video is worth watching. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss tomorrow's video. You can watch ad-free and support my work on my Patreon. Thanks so much for watching all the way to the end, and I'll see you tomorrow.